I'm going to just be honest. This was the greatest interview of all time.
This is Donovan Copley from Hot Water.
Hi, I'm Kerry Miller.
Hey, I'm Ross from Prime Circle.
Love RTL.
My new addiction.
Let me not just talk about it. Let me show you in the back of the window where I'm at.
Cabinet has decided to place the entire country on alert level 2.
No, thank you for getting me out of bed this morning.
Informative.
Relevant.
Diverse.
Interactive.
So educational.
Fantastic. Super fulfilling.
I think most of the time in South Africa, certainly provincial cricket, they might as well play because there's no spectators going to watch anyway.
The hugging, shaking of hands, and kissing is a thing of the past.
And then overnight into Thursday, we're expecting that cold front to spread showers into most.
Playlist is incredible.
Love the music.
Best music. Entertaining. So entertaining. Entertaining.
They wanted radio people because radio people can basically talk shit when things go wrong.
A sight that just a few weeks ago seemed scarcely possible. Eden Park is back in business, a capacity...
No, but seriously, on a serious note, I think I actually swiped right for you the one day when I saw you. I didn't know.
You didn't.
But you wouldn't know.
And I love the dress. If I tell you, I didn't even wear a bra. That was so good.
Splashdown. As you can see on your screen, we have visual confirmation for Splashdown.
I will try to fix you.
You guys are the lifeblood of what's left of this music industry.
And of course, Noel Johnson. We love your sexy legs. Especially because of Noel Johnson. Jeez, that man is sexy. Thank God for RTL SA.
You are a star.
RTL SA.
Home of legends.
Caban Investments, an impact venture capital company that turns entrepreneurs' dreams into reality. A core focus is to invest in high-growth opportunities to maximize returns for shareholders, at the same time also providing a comprehensive service offering to cover all business needs. From small startups to larger companies, Caban offers the entire spectrum of service offerings required to get business moving. Visit www.caban.co.za for more information. Caban Investments, turning entrepreneurs' dreams into reality. This is your top 3 on RTL SA.
Brought to you by Creative Design and Print. For all your specialized printing requirements, contact Lauren on 072 114 0329 or lauren.creativedesign@gmail.com.
Own your piece of RTL by sponsoring a feature.
Burning topic. Bad Joke Friday. In other news, Power Play Trivia.
You will be helping keep RTL on air and building infrastructure for as little as 300 Rand per week. Have your or your company's name associated with the fastest growing online radio station in the world.
The RTL SA Top 10. Your top 3.
Contact RTL for more info on WhatsApp 064 134 0020 or email info@noeljohnson.co.za. It's time to mass debate on RTL SA.
Playlist is incredible.
Love the music.
Best music. Entertaining. So entertaining. RTL SA.
Catch me and Noel Johnson live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
RTL SA.
Broadcasting live on SA Commuter. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. Live, love, listen.
You're listening to RTL SA.
He got it. Was really 1981.
You're listening to RTL SA.
Wednesday, the 1st of September, 2021. Let me have a look. We are in the 35th week of the year. We have now literally stepped into the 9th month of the year and officially another season. Although I took a little drive, Nana, and it didn't quite feel like spring, did it? But did you know there's some interesting information about Spring Day? And I'll share that with you in a little bit because Spring Day is not as common as what you think it is. But I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. We've got to talk about World War II today. World War II started today in 1939 when Germany invaded Poland. Why are we talking about World War II? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it probably was the most influential war in the history of the world that had the biggest impact on the way we live our lives today. And democracy as we know it is probably because of World War II. You know, the way it's set up and the way we do it. Anyway, we have a look at it. Then I also want to ask a question. What would have happened had Germany won? That would have been very interesting. So we paint a hypothetical picture for you. Oh man, this is going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Before we get into the rest of the show though, headlines and weather from the SABC.
Well, time for news headlines now. Another 431 people have died of COVID-19 related complications, taking the total number of fatalities in South Africa to over 82,000. 7,086 new infections were also reported in the latest 24-hour cycle, and most of the new cases were reported in KwaZulu-Natal, where 1,777 cases were reported. The ANC has decided to wait for the Constitutional Court's ruling on a local government election deferment after withdrawing its application to the Electoral Court for the candidate registration system to be reopened. The ANC withdrew its urgent application yesterday, just hours after filing an affidavit stating that the party had not been able to register candidates in 94 municipalities due to technical glitches in the system. In international news, President Joe Biden has defended the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. He says it was the best available option to end both the United States' longest war and decades of fruitless efforts to remake other countries through military force.
A lovely day expected across most parts of the country. Clear skies over the western, central and also the northern parts, but still seeing those partly cloudy conditions over the southern as well as the eastern parts of the country, with that cold front just over the southeastern parts, bringing with it some isolated showers and rain along the southeastern coastline, stretching into the adjacent interior. Now, the South African Weather Service for today warning of high fire danger conditions, and that is over the northern and northeastern parts of the Northern Cape. So please do take caution as runway fault fires are possible. In terms of our daytime temperatures for the first day of spring, seeing warm days over the central and also the northern parts of the country. Johannesburg and Bloemfontein peaking at 26, while Daar is expecting 23. Unfortunately, still some cold conditions lingering over the Western Cape and Eastern Cape, where Cape Town and Worcester sees a maximum of 17 this afternoon. Cradock peaking at 18 there. Makhanda a maximum of 16. Along that eastern coastline, Port St. John's, Durban at 18, Richards Bay cool at a maximum of 20. Now tomorrow, still seeing some isolated showers and rain along the coastal regions of the Eastern Cape, that band stretching into the adjacent interior. It will be clear over the central regions of the country, where temperatures are expected to be cool to warm, but partly cloudy skies can be seen along the western coastline, the adjacent interior, over the southern parts of the country, as well as in places over the northeastern parts. Then on Friday, seeing partly cloudy conditions along the southern coastline as well as over the western parts of the country. Isolated to scattered showers and rain expected. Another cold conditions moving through over the Western Cape. But it will be cool to warm over the central and eastern parts. Hot in places over Limpopo and the interior of KwaZulu-Natal. And that is with mainly clear skies on that Friday. But taking a look at the 5-day outlook for some of the major cities, starting with Johannesburg, it will be warm warm day today, but tomorrow slightly cooler at 24. But over the weekend, seeing beautiful weather, fine to partly cloudy skies, a maximum of 27. That is on Saturday and on Sunday. Mahikeng will be warm today with a maximum of 29. On Friday, starting off at 14, peaking at 30. 31 is your maximum on Saturday with partly cloudy conditions. A cool day in Polokwane today, but warming up going into the weekend where a maximum of 27 is expected on that Friday. On Saturday, starting off at 14, peaking at 27. That's your weather. We'll be back after a short break.
Of course, being Wednesday today, it's the RTL SA Top 10. We have one brand new entry and we have a brand new number one as well. Very excited to share that with you in a little bit. Your top three today is Penny's Selection, that brought to you by Creative Design and Print. Power Play Trivia brought to you by Bev Miller, coming your way. Today in History, also coming your way. And of course, I've already mentioned that World War II, apologies. World War II started today. Your burning topic, brought to you by Cheryl and Kirsten Murrigan. Would you rather solve global warming or have permanent peace in the Middle East? If you could have a choice. Global warming, no more problem, or peace in the Middle East? I know which one I would lean towards. Send me your comments via voice notes on 064 134 0020. The number again, 064 134 0020. Days of the year today. Tofu Day. Tofu should never, ever get a day, in my opinion. But okay, it is Tofu Day. It's also Letter Writing Day. Cherry Popover Day. Okay, let's do that. Ginger Cat Appreciation Day. Give a ginger a hug. And of course, being the 1st of September, and I will share some more information with you about the 1st of September, it is Spring Day. Yes, in South Africa, it is Spring Day. Welcome to it.
Caban Investments, an impact venture capital company that turns entrepreneurs' dreams into reality. A core focus is to invest in high-growth opportunities to maximize returns for shareholders, at the same time also providing a comprehensive service offering to cover all business needs. From small startups to larger companies, Caban offers the entire spectrum of service offerings required to get business moving. Visit www.caban.co.za for more information. Caban Investments, turning entrepreneurs' dreams into reality.
It's like, hey, got it. That was really 1981.
You're listening to RTL SA. I want to be on lockdown with Noel Johnson.
You are listening to.
You're listening to.
You're listening to.
You're listening to Noel Johnson. Noel Johnson.
Noel Johnson.
And you're listening to Noel Johnson.
And you're going to party it up listening to Noel Johnson.
As I was saying, you're listening to my mate, Noel Johnson.
RTL SA is proudly brought to you by Caban Investments, an impact venture capital company that turns entrepreneurs' dreams into reality. Visit www.cabancapital.co for more information. Alice Merton with No Roots on RTL SA, our former number one. It used to be a number one on the RTL SA Top 10 back in the day.
Time to test your knowledge with Power Play Trivia.
And your Power Play Trivia brought to you by Bev Miller. Today's question is, a tick bite can make you allergic to what food? A tick bite can make you allergic to what food? Send me your answer via WhatsApp on 064 134 0020. 064 134 0020. And I will let you know if you're a smarty pants or not a little bit later in the show.
Just be honest, this was the greatest interview of all time.
This is Donovan Copley from Hot Water.
Hi, I'm Kerry Miller. Hey, I'm Ross from Prime Circle.
Love, love, love RTL. My new addiction.
Let me not just talk about it. Let me show you in the back of the window where I'm at.
Cabinet has decided to place the entire country on alert level 2.
No, thank you for getting me out of bed this morning.
Informative. Relevant. Diverse. Interactive. So educational. Fantastic. Super fulfilling.
I think most of the time in South Africa, certainly provincial cricket, they might as well play because there's no spectators going to watch anyway.
The hugging, shaking of hands, and kissing is a thing of the past.
And then overnight into Thursday, we're expecting that cold front to spread showers into most.
Playlist is incredible. Love the music. Best music. Entertaining. So entertaining. And entertaining.
They wanted radio people because radio people can basically talk shit when things go wrong.
A sight that just a few weeks ago seemed scarcely possible. Eden Park is back in business, a capacity...
No, but seriously, on a serious note, I think I actually swiped right for you the one day when I saw you. I don't know.
No, you didn't.
But you wouldn't know.
RTL. And I love Grace. If I tell you, I didn't even wear a bra. They were so good.
Splashdown.
As you can see on your screen, we have visual confirmation for Splashdown.
I will try to fix you.
You guys are the lifeblood of what's left of this music industry.
And of course, Noel Johnson.
We love your sexy legs. Especially because of Noel Johnson. Jeez, that man is sexy.
Thank God for RTL SA.
You are a star.
RTL SA.
Home of legends.
Own your piece of RTL by sponsoring a feature.
Burning topic. Bad Joke Friday. In other news, Power Play Trivia.
You will be helping keep RTL on air and building infrastructure for as little as 300 Rand per week. Have your or your company's name associated with the fastest growing online radio station in the world.
The RTL SA Top 10. Your top 3.
Contact RTL for more info on WhatsApp 064 134 0020 or email info@noeljohnson.co.za.
It's time to mass debate on RTL SA.
Right, it's time to have a look at your day in history today. What happened today in the years before? And of course, I did mention that World War II started today, but there were other things that happened today as well in history, and we need to take a look back, because the more we look back, the more we can sort of ascertain where we are today and where we will be going.
September 1st, 1939.
Wenn Polen versuchen sollte, auf dem Weg zollpolitischer Maßnahmen Danzig.
Start of World War II as Nazi Germany's dictator Adolf Hitler invades neighboring Poland. The war lasts for the next 6 years, spanning from Europe and North Africa to Asia and the Pacific. 2004. A hostage crisis unfolds in southern Russia. Heavily armed Chechen militants seize more than 1,100 people at a school in Beslan, demanding Russian troops withdraw from nearby Chechnya. The ordeal ends 3 days later, with more than 330 people, most of them children, dead. 1983. A Soviet jet fighter shoots down a Korean Airlines Boeing 747 after it enters the Soviet Union's airspace. All 269 people on board the civilian airliner are killed. President Ronald Reagan condemns the incident.
It was an act of barbarism, born of a society which wantonly disregards individual rights and the value of human life and seeks constantly to expand and dominate other nations.
1972. A chess match made for the Cold War era in Reykjavik, Iceland. That's where American Bobby Fischer wins the international chess crown, beating Boris Spassky of the Soviet Union. 1923. Rocky Marciano, the only heavyweight boxing champ to retire undefeated, is born in Brockton, Massachusetts. And 1957. Gloria Estefan, the Cuban-American singer and songwriter who has topped mainstream and Latin music charts, is born in Havana. Today in history, September 1st. Camille Bohannon, The Associated Press.
You are listening to.
You're listening to. Noel Johnson.
Noel Johnson
On RTL SA.
It's Offenbach with head, shoulder, knees and toes. Before that, Alanis Morissette, All I Really Want. Gloria Estefan, Rhythm Is Gonna Get Ya. And of course, she's celebrating her birthday today. Now, remember I said I was going to tell you something interesting about Spring Day. Okay, Northern Hemisphere, they celebrate Spring Day as well. Normally around about May or something like that. But there are certain countries that, like Iran, will celebrate it on the 21st of March. And Bangladesh on the 13th of February and things like that. But in the Southern Hemisphere, what's very interesting is that there are 5 countries that I'm aware of that celebrate Spring Day. Those 5 countries being Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, Bolivia, and South Africa. Out of those 5 countries, only South Africa celebrates on the 1st of September. The rest of them all celebrate on the 21st of September. So, it's not International Spring Day today or Southern Hemisphere Spring Day. It is South African Spring Day only. Little piece of useless information for you. I thought I would just share that with you. Right, coming up, we're going to talk about World War II on the other side of this.
Caban Investments, an impact venture capital company that turns entrepreneurs' dreams into reality. A core focus is to invest in high-growth opportunities to maximize returns for shareholders, at the same time also providing a comprehensive service offering to cover all business needs. From small startups to larger companies, Caban offers the entire spectrum of service offerings required to get business moving. Visit www.caban.co.za for more information. Caban Investments, turning entrepreneurs' dreams into reality. Own your piece of RTL by sponsoring a feature.
Burning topic. Bad Joke Friday. In other news, Power Play Trivia.
You will be helping keep RTL on air and building infrastructure for as little as 300 Rand per week. Have your or your company's name associated with the fastest growing online radio station in the world.
The RTL SA Top 10. Your top 3.
Contact RTL for more info on WhatsApp 064 134 0020 or email info@noeljohnson.co.za.
It's time to mass debate on RTL SA.
He got it. Was really 1981.
You're listening to RTL SA. You're listening to RTL SA.
A little later in the show, we're going to look at a hypothetical situation, a hypothetical scenario. Had Germany won World War II, what the world would have looked like and what would have happened. But right now, we're going to look at what actually did happen based on history. And it's an animated look at how it happened. Very quick, to the point, getting through it. The main headlines, so to say, the big moments in the war. Have a look at this. Catch up on this.
At the end of World War I, Germany and its allies are defeated and held solely responsible for the war. With heavy sanctions imposed upon them, the Austro-Hungarian and Ottoman empires are dismantled, while Germany has to repay what many consider an unreasonable debt. Its colonies and some of its territories are ceded to the victors and to Poland, which is recreated. These sanctions are seen as humiliation by the German people. The German economy is weakened by excessive debt and suffers hyperinflation. National mints try to address this by printing banknotes, causing a devaluation of its currency. Between 1914 and November 1923, the value of the mark grew by 1,000 billion. The following year, radical measures are taken to halt inflation and stabilize and revive the economy. But in 1929, the Wall Street crash in New York causes the worst economic crisis of the 20th century. Its impact is felt worldwide, with Germany not spared either, causing the unemployment rate to explode. Severely weakened, Germany sees a rise of nationalism in 1933 that allows the rise to power of the Nazi Party with Adolf Hitler at its helm. Despite the strict conditions imposed upon Germany after World War I, the new totalitarian regime resets the country and restores military service. The country also begins an aggressive foreign policy with the dream of uniting all German-speaking people. Italy, despite its victory with the Allies, is frustrated by the amount of territory it gained after World War I. Since 1922, the country is ruled by the dictatorial fascist party of Benito Mussolini. Italy begins a colonial policy by seizing Ethiopia and prepares a future invasion in Albania. In Spain begins 3 years of civil war opposing the Republican government supported by the USSR and the International Brigades and the nationalist camp led by Francisco Franco and aided by Italy and Germany. The two countries took the opportunity to test their armies and to get closer diplomatically. In Asia, Japan continues its expansionist policy. The country takes advantage of the civil war in China to invade new territories. The Japanese army uses chemical and biological weapons and commits massacres of populations. Germany is now powerful enough to launch its territorial expansion. It first annexed Austria with support from the local Nazi party. Next, the west of Czechoslovakia was invaded. The Slovak Republic becomes a German satellite state while Hungary grows closer diplomatically. After the occupation of a part of Lithuania, Germany signs with the USSR a non-aggression pact and a plan to carve up Europe. It then attacks Poland, which provokes the United Kingdom and France to declare war, marking the beginning of World War II. Although the German forces are concentrated in the east, the Allied troops do not take initiative in the west. Instead, France and the United Kingdom try to cut the strategic iron ore route that passes through Norway and supplies the German military industry. Germany reacts by invading Denmark and Norway. Within days, the country captures Luxembourg, the Netherlands and Belgium. Hitler's new military strategy is called Blitzkrieg, which surprises opposition defenses with rapid, high-intensity attacks in a concentrated area. British forces retreat in the face of this German military prowess, and the German army bears down on Paris. The French army is defeated and an armistice is signed. Germany occupies the north and west of France, leaving its other territory and colonies under the control of the new government. Germany thus has indirect control of French colonies without having to send an army there. However, parts of the French colonies and the Belgian Congo chooses to stay in the camp of the Allies. In London, which already hosts several governments in exile, General Charles de Gaulle creates Free France, which continues to fight Nazi Germany. Brazzaville is named as its capital. Pursuant to the agreement signed with Germany, the Soviet Union seizes the Baltic states and a part of Romania. Germany, Italy and Japan combine to form the Axis powers. All dominions and British colonies, with the exception of Ireland, enter the war. In Africa, fighting begins between Italian colonies and Allied forces. While in Europe, despite the massive aerial bombing of British cities, Germany fails to take over the country. Hitler then changes his plans. He now wants to invade the USSR. But the plan is delayed by Italy, that fails to invade Greece and is forced to retreat by Allied forces. After the accession of Hungary, Romania and Bulgaria to the Axis forces, the German armies head south to invade Yugoslavia and Greece. Everywhere in Europe, the resistance is organized in different forms. Sometimes people organize strikes, demonstrations, or protect wanted persons. Some groups spy for the Allies, conduct sabotage, or print resistance newspapers. In Eastern Europe, guerrilla forces undermine the Axis armies. In Yugoslavia and Greece, resistant communists and royalist groups confront each other. Germany isn't spared the anti-Nazi resistance, with some attempts to assassinate Hitler, which fail. On June 22, Axis forces launched, on some counts, the largest military operation in history to attack USSR, which now passes de facto into the camp of Allied forces. The bulk of the German troops, well equipped and motorized, rushed to the east. To support the Soviets, Allies occupy Iran, which then opens a supply route through the Caucasus. German armies arrive in Leningrad and begin a siege of the city that would last 872 days and cause more than 1 million civilian deaths. Further south, German troops were stopped at the gates of Moscow, where they suffer a harsh and deadly winter. Behind the front lines, the SS massacre Slavic and Jewish populations. In Asia, Japan occupies French Indochina. To counter its expansionist policy, the United States imposes upon it an embargo on oil and steel. In response, the Japanese conduct a surprise attack on the United States at Pearl Harbor. A massive aerial bombing damages a large part of the US naval fleet. The United States enters the war on the Allied side. At first, they concentrate their forces on the Pacific front. The country also provides supplies to the USSR, which continues resisting the German advance. Japan, for its part, conquers new territories in the Pacific. In addition to the massacres, Japan sends 10 million Chinese civilians into forced labor camps. In Indonesia, millions of prisoners suffer the same fate on the island of Java. In Burma and Thailand, Allied prisoners are exhausted in the construction of a railway line. Moreover, hundreds of thousands of women are forcibly recruited into prostitution for the Japanese army. In Europe, concentration and extermination camps are built to massacre, among others, Jews, resistance fighters, political opponents, gypsies, homosexuals, and people with disabilities. Fearing a second front in Europe, Hitler built the Atlantic Wall, a series of military installations protecting the coast from invasion. But the Allies first landed in Morocco and Algeria. Italian Libya finds itself caught between the two fronts. Having lost control of its colonies, Vichy France is invaded. In the east, Axis forces try to cut the supply route of the Caucasus, but for the first time, the German offensive undergoes a major military setback. The Soviets take the initiative and counterattack. Africa is now entirely controlled by Allies who organize a landing in Sicily. The new Italian government requests an armistice, causing the Germans to invade. The USSR advances rapidly westward, forcing the German army to concentrate on that front. On June 6, 1944, the Allies land in Normandy. Their armies quickly take over and liberate Paris. In the west, as in the east, countries are liberated or switch camps. With victory in sight, Allied powers announce the creation of the United Nations. Countries that declared war on Germany and Japan would be admitted at its founding conference. This triggers a wave of declarations of war, but without major consequence. On April 30, Hitler commits suicide in his bunker just before the arrival of the Soviets. 8 days later, the country surrenders. The United States and USSR join forces to overcome the empire of Japan. The Soviets begin a military invasion via Manchuria, while the US drops 2 atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. On August 15, Japan surrenders, marking the end of World War II. After 6 years of war, the human toll is heavy, with at least 60 million dead, mostly civilians. Many cities are completely destroyed. Europe and the USSR subject millions of German prisoners of war to bonded labor, many of whom would die. Germany and Austria are carved up among the victors. The old guard of European powers are left exhausted and ruined by war. The United States and USSR emerge as the remaining global superpowers. Despite the role of the UN, which aims to maintain peace and international security, both sides would eventually engage in indirect confrontations around the world.
Very interesting indeed. You know, I didn't know about the whole French colony, actually Free France being run out of the Congo. That was like really interesting, and I didn't realize that. Sure, very interesting piece that. Right, in the next piece, like I said, we have a look at a hypothetical scenario. Had Hitler won the war, what would have happened? Would have been very interesting. On the other side of this, we get into your top three today. Penny's selection, brought to you by Creative Design and Print.
Caban Investments, an impact venture capital company that turns entrepreneurs' dreams into reality. A core focus is to invest in high-growth opportunities to maximize returns for shareholders, at the same time also providing a comprehensive service offering to cover all business needs. From small startups to larger companies, Caban offers the entire spectrum of service offerings required to get business moving. Visit www.caban.co.za for more information. Caban Investments, turning entrepreneurs' dreams into reality. Own your piece of RTL by sponsoring a feature.
Burning topic. Bad Joke Friday. In other news, Power Play Trivia.
You will be helping keep RTL on air and building infrastructure for as little as 300 Rand per week. Have your or your company's name associated with the fastest growing online radio station in the world.
The RTL SA Top 10. Your top three.
Contact RTL for more info on WhatsApp 064 134 0020 or email info@noeljohnson.co.za.
It's time to mass debate on RTL SA.
He
got it. It's really 1981.
You're listening to RTL SA.
This is your top three on RTL SA.
Brought to you by Creative Design and Print. For all your specialized printing requirements, contact Lauren on 072 114 0329 or lauren.creativedesign@gmail.com. It's Penny's selection on your top three, brought to you by Creative Design and Print. And that one we just heard, Lionel Richie, You Are My Destiny. Before that, Enrique Iglesias with a little bit of sexiness. Balamos and Ace of Base. I haven't heard that for a long time. All That She Wants. And Lauren saying she doesn't want any more babies. But clearly Ace of Base did at the point back in the 90s. Right. It was a great top three. Thank you so much for sharing it with us, Penny. And that, of course, brought to you by Creative Design and Print.
This is your top three on RTL SA.
Brought to you by Creative Design and Print. For all your specialized printing requirements, contact Lauren on 072 114 0329 or lauren.creativedesign@gmail.com. It's time to get into the RTL SA Top 10 on the other side of this. Like I said earlier, brand new number one, brand new entry in there as well. Very excited to share this one with you on the other side of this.
Caban Investments, an impact venture capital company that turns entrepreneurs' dreams into reality. A core focus is to invest in high-growth opportunities to maximize returns for shareholders, At the same time, also providing a comprehensive service offering to cover all business needs. From small startups to larger companies, Kaban offers the entire spectrum of service offerings required to get business moving. Visit www.kaban.co.za for more information. Kaban Investments, turning entrepreneurs' dreams into reality.
It's like, hey, got it. It's really
1981.
You're listening to RTL SA.
I want to be on lockdown with Noel Johnson.
You are listening to.
You're listening to. Noel Johnson.
Noel Johnson.
And you're listening to Noel Johnson.
And you're going to party it up listening to Noel Johnson.
As I was saying, you're listening to my mate, Noel Johnson.
You're listening to the RTL SA Top 10. Number 10.
RTL SA.
Lauren saying she's still very excited that Parable 15 is still on the top 10. And they are there because you keep voting for them. Coming in at number 8 this week, Parable 15, dropping down a few positions from last week. Let me have a look here. They were number 4 last week, I think. Yes, coming in at number 8 this week. Before that, Little Mix also dropping down 2 positions from last week's number 7 to this week's number 9 with Hair. And staying at number 10, just hanging in there, Tiesto featuring Ty Dolla with the Business Part 2. Right, on the other side of this, we're going to have a look at what would have happened had Germany actually won World War II. And it's a little tongue-in-cheek, hypothetical scenario had Germany won, because it probably would not have been able to last very long should they have won. Anyway, it's a very interesting little piece, very fun little piece, and we take a look at it just on the other side of this.
Just be honest, this was the greatest interview of all time.
This is Donovan Copley from Hot Water.
I am Carrie Miller. Hey, I'm Ross from Prime Circle.
Love RTL. My new addiction.
Let me not just talk about it. Let me show you in the back of the window where I'm at.
Cabinet has decided to place the entire country on alert level 2.
No, thank you for getting me out of bed this morning.
Informative, relevant, diverse, interactive, so educational, fantastic, super fulfilling.
I think most of the time in South Africa, certainly provincial cricket, they might as well play because there's no spectators going to watch anyway.
The hugging, shaking of hands, and kissing is a thing of the past.
And then overnight into Thursday, we're expecting that cold front to spread showers into most.
Playlist is incredible. Love the music.
Best music. Entertaining. So entertaining. Entertaining.
They wanted radio people because radio people can basically talk shit when things go wrong.
A sight that just a few weeks ago seemed scarcely possible. Eden Park is back in business, a capacity...
No, but seriously, on a serious note, I think I actually swiped right from the one day when I saw you. I didn't know.
You didn't.
But you wouldn't know.
And I love Grace. If I tell you, I didn't even wear a bra. That was so good.
Splashdown.
As you can see on your screen, we have visual confirmation for Splashdown.
I will try to fix you.
You guys are the lifeblood of what's left of this music industry.
And of course, Noel Johnson.
We love your sexy legs. Especially because of Noel Johnson. Jeez, that man is sexy.
Thank God for RTL SA.
You are a star.
RTL SA.
Home of legends.
Own your piece of RTL by sponsoring a feature.
Burning Topic. Bad Joke Friday in other news, Power Play Trivia.
You will be helping keep RTL on air and building infrastructure for as little as 300 Rand per week. Have your or your company's name associated with the fastest growing online radio station in the world.
The RTL SA Top 10. Your top three.
Contact RTL for more info on WhatsApp 064 134 0020 or email info@noeljohnson.co.za. It's time to mass debate on RTL SA.
You're listening to RTL SA.
Could you imagine if Germany had won World War II? What would the world have looked like? Could you imagine it? I actually can't even picture it. But there have been people that have sort of created a possible scenario, or a few different possible scenarios. And this was one of them.
World War II, the largest and most costly war in all of human history, is still within living memory of some of us around the world, and the fallout of this massive conflict is still visible 70 years after the event. The aftermath of the war gave rise to a massive displacement and migration of citizens in Europe. In a modern world where it's difficult to establish just who are the good guys and who are the bad guys, the Second World War leaves little in the way of ambiguity. A madman set to take over the world had to be stopped by a morally responsible world stage. Fortunately, Germany was stopped. But in today's episode of the Infographic Show, we ask, what if Hitler had won World War II? This must be one of the biggest what-ifs in history, and had Germany not made the double error of first invading the Soviet Union and then declaring war on the USA, we might have been living in a world where the Nazis had been the victors. The citizens of the Soviet Union were the ones who paid the dearest for the Allied victory, and if it were not for their determination and resistance, we may well be speaking German and chomping on bratwurst right now. But for this to have happened, we need to factor in a number of variables and reverse engineer a scenario that gives Hitler and Germany a good fighting chance of winning the war. For Hitler to have declared victory, he would have had to have gained a lot more land than he had. The likelihood of Great Britain and the United States ceding their territory is very slim. Yet it is possible that some kind of ceasefire would have occurred whereby Germany would have temporary control over the Allied nations. Hitler was, by some accounts, terrified of the United States becoming part of the Allied forces, having, as they did, large resources and being as far away as they were. Capturing land across the oceans would have been unlikely. Instead, the USA would have had to agree to become passive in the conflict, leaving Germany to have its way with Europe. It would have had to have made economic sense for the USA to continue to do deals with a German-led Europe rather than the individual countries. Germany would keep the countries it conquered, including France and Poland, and Italy would continue to be a German ally. Spain and Portugal would find themselves aligned with Germany, and Switzerland would remain neutral. For Germany to have won the Second World War, they would have had to have given up their ambitions to take the Soviet Union. However, Stalin was not going to stay quiet, so some kind of peace deal would have had to be brokered between the Soviets and Germany if Hitler were to win the war. Likewise, Germany would have had to have abandoned its plans to take Japan, and being so far away, there would be no real reason to pursue the East once they'd taken the lion's share of Europe. In short, a lot of the bigger players on the world stage would have had a reason to let Germany carry on with its ambitions. This lack of interference would itself be morally wrong, considering the Nazis' attempt to exterminate entire sections of the population, such as Jews and other so-called undesirables like gay people, the mentally ill, Romani, etc. So if the Germans had won the Second World War and were allowed to continue their ethnic cleansing, we would now be living in a world where inside the Greater German Reich, these people would have been eliminated. American science fiction writer Philip K. Dick in 1962 wrote one of the first alternate history novels to look at what would happen. In his book, Nazi Germany, Italy, and Japan have won the war, and the world is divided between them in blocks. The Empire of Japan includes all of Greater East Asia, with the United States divided between the Japanese puppet Pacific States of America and the Rocky Mountain States, a Nazi puppet state of the USA. Canada avoids occupation in this scenario, despite being part of the British Empire and being at war with the Nazis from the start. With the USA having obtained nuclear capability by 1945, Nazi Germany would have been desperate to find their own weapons of mass destruction. Nazism may have been discovered by its own people to be inherently evil and be overthrown from within. The truth is, we will never know just how the world would have panned out, as there are simply too many variables to take into consideration. It is safe to say that the victory would probably be short-lived, as the Allies decided once again that the right thing to do would have been to remove Hitler from the world stage once and for all.
Yeah, I don't think it would have lasted very long had Hitler won. And I shudder at the thought of Hitler and Germany winning World War II, because it really would have shaped the world in such a way that we would not be able to enjoy the civil liberties and freedoms that we do now, and the freedom of expression as well. So, yeah, look, I'm not excited that there was a war, but I'm glad it turned out the way it did to a large degree, because you know, it really had a massive impact on how we live today. And like I was saying earlier in the show, the democracy as we know it today was probably largely influenced by what happened in World War II, because I think a lot of people, a lot of countries realized then how bad it could get and how quickly it can get really bad, and therefore they sort of took learnings or key learnings from the war and implemented it into their own countries to ensure civil rights and freedom of speech and liberties that we are used to today, which are all inclusive in democracy. So, yeah, but it would have been very, very interesting, because, I mean, I'm pretty sure the way, if you look at the graphics and whatever, you know, had Germany won the world war, Africa, for one, would probably have been under German control as well, or Japanese control, who knows. But the world would have looked very, very different to what it is today.
You're listening to the RTL SA Top 10.
It's a brand new entry on the RTL SA Top 10, and I thought I was going to get there because there's been a lot of chatter about the song in recent times. Tom Grennan, A Little Bit of Love. And up one spot from last week's number 8 to this week's number 7, the Jonas Brothers with Sucker, right here on RTL SA's Top 10. Man, I'm so glad Tom Grennan's song got in there, because it is literally, if not one of my favorites, currently one of my favorite song. I got to say, I just got to throw it out there. I'm absolutely loving it, and I'm predicting that it will climb the charts a little bit more, coming in at number 6 this week. Man, love it. Absolutely love it. Right, just a reminder, your Power Play trivia question, I'm going to give you the answer just on the other side of this next announcement. But the question was, a tick bite can make you allergic to what food? If you can send me your answer within the next 30 seconds or so, I might still be able to slot it in. And then the burning topic today, brought to you by Cheryl and Kirsten Murrigan. Would you rather solve global warming or have a permanent peace solution in the Middle East? Send me your comments via voice notes on 064 134 0020, and I'll play back your comments in a little bit on the show.
Caban Investments, an impact venture capital company that turns entrepreneurs' dreams into reality. A core focus is to invest in high growth opportunities to maximize returns for shareholders, at the same time also providing a comprehensive service offering to cover all business needs. From small startups to larger companies, Caban offers the entire spectrum of service offerings required to get business moving. Visit www.caban.co.za for more information. Caban Investments, turning entrepreneurs' dreams into reality. Own your piece of RTL by sponsoring a feature.
Burning topic. Bad Joke Friday. In other news, Power Play Trivia.
You will be helping keep RTL on air and building infrastructure for as little as 300 Rand per week. Have your or your company's name associated with the fastest growing online radio station in the world.
The RTL SA Top 10. Your top 3.
Contact RTL for more info on WhatsApp 064 134 0020 or email info@noeljohnson.co.za. It's time to mass debate on RTL SA.
Here you go. Was really 1981.
You're listening to RTL SA.
Time to test your knowledge with Power Play Trivia.
And the Power Play Trivia brought to you by Bev Miller. Today's question: a tick bite can make you allergic to what food? Correct answers coming through from Marius and Daniel and Lauren as well. It can indeed make you allergic to meat.
Good morning, David.
Don't you love getting tagged in those viral social media posts or receiving a chain email making outlandish claims? It's so much fun, right? No! Well, it's a little confusing because you don't know what to do with it. That's why we tackle these in stuff my mom forwards me. And this one's been making the rounds this week. Beware. If you're bit by a certain type of tick, it will leave you allergic to meat, and it's spreading across the country. Symptoms may even take hours to develop. Be on the lookout. What do y'all think? True or false? This is actually true. A bite from the Lone Star tick can trigger this bizarre rare meat allergy. It can include beef and pork. And this is a specific tick. You're seeing a picture. It's got that little white dot, almost looks like a star on its back, predominantly in the southeast.
So what happens is when you get this bite, it actually triggers your body to create antibodies, an immune response, and you start to recognize a sugar in the meat. And so this becomes an alpha-gal allergy, and it's a hypersensitivity that develops. So it can develop in hours, or it can actually take weeks to months. But then when you eat that meat and then your body recognizes that sugar that's in mammalian meat, you can actually feel really nauseated, you can develop a rash. It's a true hypersensitivity.
RTL. You're listening to the RTL SA Top 10. Number 5.
7 out of the top 10, done and dusted. This one, last week's number 5 to this week's number 4, Dua Lipa with Love Again. Also up 1 spot from last week's number 6 to this week's number 5, Skillet with Sick of It on RTL SA. Let's recap. Coming in at number 10, Tiesto featuring Ty Dolla with The Business Part 2. Little Mix with Hair dropping down 2 spots to this week's number 9. Parable 15 dropping down 4 spots to this week's number 8 with Telling Your Heart. Jonas Brothers up 1 spot to this week's number 7 with Sucker. Tom Grennan, brand new entry right here on the RTL SA Top 10 with Little Bit of Love. And that completes the 7 leading up to the top 3, which we'll get into in just a little bit. But first, we're going to get into your burning topic just on the other side of this.
Win your piece of RTL by sponsoring a feature.
Burning topic. Bad Joke Friday. In other news, Power Play Trivia.
You will be helping keep RTL on air and building infrastructure for as little as 300 Rand per week. Have your or your company's name associated with the fastest growing online radio station in the world.
The RTL SA Top 10. Your top 3.
Contact RTL for more info on WhatsApp 064 134 0020 or email info@noeljohnson.co.za. It's time to mass debate on RTL SA.
Playlist is incredible. Love the music. Best music. Entertaining. So entertaining. RTL SA. You're listening to RTL SA.
Have your say now. It's the burning topic.
It is indeed the burning topic, and the question I asked today is, would you rather solve global warming or have permanent peace in the Middle East? It's a very tricky one to answer. This is what Sarah had to say.
I would wish for permanent peace in the Middle East because if everyone actually got together, we could solve global warming. It's an individual thing, but everybody has to pull together to do that.
I am inclined to agree with you, but I've got to play devil's advocate here a little bit, because if there is no more world for there to be peace in, you see where I'm going with this. I don't know. It's very tricky. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people in the world that don't believe in global warming and believe that it is not as hectic as what people are making it out to be. And that the war in the Middle East is in fact a real tangible thing, which has a massive impact on global economies and lives on the ground and things like that as well. So yeah, but lots of people are dying because of global warming as well. Seasons are changing, ice caps are melting, water tables are rising, and so on and so on. Climate has been affected. Like, you can't believe there are now droughts in places where there never were, and there's floods, and oh man. So it's a very tricky one to answer. But if I am pushed to answer one and choose one, I'm going to have to go with Sarah on this one, and peace in the Middle East. Start there, and then maybe we can all pool our intellectual capabilities together to find peace, to find a solution for global warming. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go with. But it's a tricky one. Nobody said it was going to be, and that's why I only got one voice note as well, is because I don't think anybody quite knows which way to go from there.
You're listening to the RTL SA Top 10.
You are listening to.
You're listening to. You're listening to Noel Johnson.
Noel Johnson
On RTL SA.
Number 3.
Last week's number 1 dropping down to this week's number 2. Before that, You Are Love dropping down from last week's number 2 to this week's number 3. So obviously making place for a brand new number 1. So let's recap the top 10 then quickly and just see where we're at for the 1st of September. The Spring Day top 10. In at number 10, Tiesto featuring Ty Dolla with a Business Part 2. Number 9, Little Mix with Hair. Parable 15, Telling Your Heart. In at number 8, Jonas Brothers with Sucker at number 7. Tom Grennan, the brand new entry, A Little Bit of Love. At number 5, Skillet with Sick of It. Dua Lipa, Love Again. In at number 4, Noel Johnson, You Are Loved. At number 3. At number 2, Ava Max, dropping down from last week's number 1 to this week's number 2 with Kings and Queens. Which means, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we have a brand new number 1. Can you remember, can you guess which it is? I'll play it for you in a little bit. But that's where we're going to leave the show for today as well. We'll be back tomorrow with Throwback Thursday. Okay, and in tomorrow's show, we're going to have a look at some history. And you'd say, yeah, but we did that today. Yes, we did. But unfortunately, the 1st of September was not on a Thursday. And it wasn't actually a very important day in the history. So we had to look at it today. But tomorrow we'll do some Throwback Thursday as well. I'll have a Throwback Thursday segment where I'll play some music from the past, and we'll also look at something from the past as well. I'm not going to tell you just yet because I haven't decided. I've got like 3 things that I'm looking at the moment, but I'll decide a little later what I'm going to look at tomorrow. So be cool, be safe. Remember what I always say: if it bugs you, you got to deal with it, baby. Big shout out to sacommuter.co.za carrying the stream today as well, and they'll be back with us tomorrow again. If you want to catch a rerun of the show, you can do so at 10 p.m. this evening on sacommuter.co.za. It will be an audio only option, but you can certainly go and listen to the show again today. I forgot to ask, what do you guys think of the brand new RTLSA website? Have you been there yet? Have you gone to look at it? It is very cool. Still a work in progress, a few more things that got to go into place, but very soon you'll be able to watch the shows, the repeats of the shows there as well. So that's all still coming your way. Have a lovely afternoon. Love you long time. And I will catch you at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
You're listening to the RTL SA Top 10. This is your number 1 on the RTL Top 10. Number 1. Combine Investments, an impact venture capital company that turns entrepreneurs' dreams into reality. A core focus is to invest in high growth opportunities to maximize returns for shareholders. At the same time, also providing a comprehensive service offering to cover all business needs. From small startups to larger companies, Kaban offers the entire spectrum of service offerings required to get business moving. Visit www.kaban.co.za for more information. Kaban Investments, turning entrepreneurs' dreams into reality.
Was really 1981.
You're listening to RTL SA. I want to be on lockdown with Noel Johnson.
You are listening to.
You're listening to.
You're listening to.
You're listening to Noel Johnson. Noel Johnson.
Noel Johnson.
And you're listening to Noel Johnson.
And you're going to party it up listening to Noel Johnson.
As I was saying, you're listening to my mate, Noel Johnson.
RTL SA.